Hi, I'm Andre, the founder at ZebraBI, and I'm happy to present the latest release of the ZebraBI Visuals for Power BI version 4.6. We've packed a ton of new features in this release, like nested calculations, improved formula editor, the option to invert the whole branch of elements in a P&L statement, improved user experience in our signature small multiples, and a ton of design features and other improvements both in charts and tables. So stay with me as I present those new features in a couple of practical examples. Let's start with the ZebraBI Tables visual. The new version of the ZebraBI Tables visual now contains an improved formula editor that allows you to create nested calculations and also format your formulas in the table. In my example here, I have a P&L statement which does not contain a line item for the gross profit. Also, there's no gross margin in percent in this data set here, so what I would like to do is just calculate this on the fly, on the visual, and add my gross profit, and then also calculate the gross margin in percent. So let's do this. Right-click on the cogs here, add formula. Now I'll first calculate my gross profit, which is revenue minus costs of goods sold, and this is it. It's a simple formula. We add it and I've got my gross profit here. Okay, now with this new version, I can just keep adding formulas based on existing formulas. So I can once again click add formula, and now we'll calculate the gross margin in percent. So gross margin percent is my gross profit. Now you see ZebraBI already searched for this item and has found an existing formula, namely gross profit. So I can just use this and divide this by revenue. All right, now format this as a percent, this time as a percentage. Make it bold, italics, and now the new design option here, you can also set the font color. Okay, so let's make this formula blue. All right, save that. Add this line to my visual, and now I have both the gross profit and also the gross margin in percent, even though they were not present in my initial data set. All right, so hopefully this will allow you to create even more user-friendly profit and loss statements and complex visualizations like this, even though you don't have all the elements in your data sets. Now the second new feature here is the ability to invert the whole branch of elements in one go. Let me show you that. In my operating expenses here, this is a group that has a number of cost account types below it. So I can now invert the whole branch here by simply right-clicking, and you'll find a new option here called invert all children, right? So without this, this would be my data from my data set, and because these are costs, I need to invert the meaning of costs so they get subtracted from my revenue, right? And now I can just do it in one go. Simply navigate under the higher level in your hierarchy here, right-click and mark invert add all children. That's it. Hopefully this feature will allow you to become much more productive when constructing beautiful tables with charts in ZebraBI Tables version 4.6. The next new feature in the ZebraBI Tables version 4.6 is the ability to dynamically switch the comparisons. All right, so right now I have two tables here and they both display the comparison to previous year together with the variance to previous year, both absolute and relative. Okay, now I also have a slicer here and the user can now choose the comparison to plan And what happens is that the content within both visuals has changed and it now displays the comparison to plan. All right, so how did I achieve this? There's a new setting in the Zebra BI tables. This is under the chart settings. And further down here, you'll find a new setting called Suppress Empty Columns. All right, so this is an important feature now because how this works. First of all, you need to add all the measures into your table. So in my table, I have my actuals, I have my previous year and plan. So all the three scenarios are inside my table. But what the switch does now is when this comparison to previous year is selected, then my plan measure is empty. Okay, and similarly, if I click on my plan here, now the measure for previous year is empty. All right, so it takes a little bit of DAX to make sure that the measure actually evaluates the selection in your slicer and then just returns the measures that you want to display. And because the other measures are blank, they will not be displayed on the visual because this new setting will suppress blank columns. So this is how it works. Let me just quickly show the DAX, how it looks like. It's really simple. So I'm calling this measure dynamic plan, okay, and it simply evaluates the selection on my filter in a switch statement. So if the selected comparison is number 1, this is the first one previous year, then the plan is blank, otherwise I return the plan here. And similarly on my dynamic previous year measure, I have a switch, and if the first option is selected, then the measure returns the value for the previous year, otherwise it is blank. Okay, so this was quite a frequently requested feature, so hopefully you'll now be able to implement those dynamic comparisons in your reports and dashboards. Let's move to the Zebra BI charts visual now. And coming up is my personal favorite new feature this time, which is another improvement in our signature small multiples. Namely, I have a small multiple here presenting my business units. And we can easily see that we have some bigger business units that are most important and so on. But then we also have some of them that don't have so much value, but of course they might still be important for the manager of this business unit, right? So first, in this small multiple, you always see the big situation and you can compare the importance of elements and so on. But then when you want to explore the details, you can click on the title, which is something that we had before, but this time this zoomed chart that appears here, the pop-up chart, is vastly improved. Namely, it now supports the report page tooltips or normal tooltips. So the user can explore the details on the zoomed chart already by moving his mouse over the elements. Next, you can actually flip through all the charts on your visual. And this works amazingly fast. It's just insanely fast here. Next thing, you can right-click and you can do the drill through. So for example, now I'm exploring my baby care business unit. What's going on? Why is this red? Let's drill through to a detailed report by country. All right, this is now an issue here. It looks like that it's in Canada. So, you know, we can now open this and finally we see the result, the Sunlight Gardens customer, something is wrong there, right? So I've come from a very, very high-level overview comparison of business units in a couple of clicks to a quite a detailed drill-through report explaining all the details. I then go back, and this is how you can use the storytelling in your Power BI reports and dashboards with the new version of Zebra BI Charts version 4.6. Next, in Zebra BI Charts version 4.6, we have added a ton of new design features and also a couple of interactivity features. Probably the most frequently requested one is the ability to hide or show a particular selected chart type for the end users, for the viewers. Okay, so up until now, we had the option to either allow the so-called chart slider here for the end users in the view mode while they are reading the reports, or turn it off completely in the interaction group of settings here. So you could turn the complete chart slider on or off. Now we are rolling out a new feature which lets you simply select on the visual the type of charts that you want to allow the viewers to actually view. So as you see here at the top, there's a little icon where you can simply hide or unhide a chart for the end users. So you can simply slide between different views, and for example, if you don't need the waterfall chart in a specific situation, simply go here and click to hide the chart from the viewers. That's it. Once you publish this report, the selected chart types will be hidden from the report, from the chart slider. Next thing, the difference highlights have been vastly improved. So as you see here in my difference highlight, the plus 8% growth rate here is actually emphasized with this circle or ellipse. So this is exactly what you will find under the difference highlight group of settings here. There's a ton of new settings here, namely the connecting line color. So exactly what is the color of the connecting lines here. Then you can customize the font for the difference highlight. So without this, it would be a normal font, the same one as it is used for the data labels, but if you turn this to on, you can now separately design and choose the font family and font size for the difference highlight. For example, you can make it bigger, like this, and then on top of that, you have the option to display a highlight ellipse, which by default it's off, so you have a clean chart, but in some cases, if you just need to emphasize this, you can select either an ellipse or a circle, and it'll be drawn around the difference highlight. Of course, this element is completely dynamic, so even if you change the charts, it'll move around, and when you filter the elements and so on. All right, so these are the new options for the difference highlight. Next, we have new options for displaying the comparisons. Of course, the comparisons are very, very important in any business reports, and that's why we are adding a couple of design options here on the charts visual. So, for example, you will find a new setting called Show Comparisons As, and now you can choose whether you want to display only the base value, so just your actuals, or do you want to display the, for example, previous year value or the plan value in this so-called overlapped chart, so as an overlapped column, or choose to display it as a marker, right? So now even with with a simple comparison like actual versus previous year, actual versus plan, and so on, you can have the option to display it as a bar or a column and a marker on top of that. Next, we have added design options, quite a lot of design options for combo charts, combination charts. Okay. So in my example here, I have two measures in the values placeholder, and that's how I got my combination chart. And now you will find under the combo chart setting, group of settings, you will find quite a few new options now. First of all, you can separately design the line width. So you can have, thin lines or very thick lines here. Line style, you can choose, dotted lines or, dashed lines or solid lines. You can choose the marker shape, so you can use different shapes and different sizes. You can have automated sizes which will stretch or will become bigger if the visual is bigger, and so on. Basically, it's responsive mode, or choose a fixed size of your marker that you then control here in a separate setting like this. Then you can add the drop lines. Okay, so by default there are no drop lines here, so the drop line width is 0, but you can actually enable the drop lines. So just make the line width bigger and you will get a drop line, and then separately choose a color for the drop line. All right, so there's quite a lot of new stuff here in the combination charts. And maybe the last important one is also the ability to display data labels on all the data series. So now, if you go under the data labels group of settings, you will find a new setting right here at the end. That is called show comparison labels. So without this, you will have the labels only on the first, like on the actual data series, but also if you want to show the data labels also on the comparison data series, like your previous year or plan and so on, just turn this to on, and now you'll get more data labels also for the comparison scenarios. As you know, ZebraBI is not just about charts and advanced data visualization methods. It's also about consistency. The consistency in business reporting, which is especially important in larger rollouts across your whole organization. Maybe when you have hundreds or thousands or more users using your reports and dashboards. That's when the consistency kicks in. So that's why we are rolling out a new feature now that allows you to adjust your abbreviations, your labels in the custom JSON theme. So you can rename the default scenario labels, namely AC, it stands for actual, previous year, PL for plan, FC, and so on, that are actually recommended by the IBCS standard, but you can just simply customize it for the whole company. Let me show you how you do that. You specify the labels in your JSON theme, and then you simply import the theme with your internal labels, and now everything has changed in one go. So all of my labels are replaced with the one that I have in my theme in one go for the whole report. Okay, so now I'm using different types of labels, and now you can use this to standardize your own labels for scenarios, also for variances, or maybe to translate the labels to your native language like German, Spanish, Chinese, and so on, or maybe also to have some fun and introduce some smileys in your reports. All right, this concludes my demo for today. There are quite a few other new features and improvements. One of them is actually an important fix, and this is the cross-visual filtering, where we know that there was a problem with all the custom visuals, but Microsoft has solved this. And now with the latest version, we also included this fix from Microsoft. So at this point, I have to say thank you to our colleagues at Microsoft to actually deliver this. So from now on, the cross-visual filtering, like when you control and click on different visuals, works flawlessly. So hopefully this will also improve your experience with ZebraBI visuals. So with that, I invite everybody to import the latest version of Zebra BI from the Microsoft AppSource Marketplace and have fun with our visuals. Also, make sure to visit our website where you'll find knowledge base, helpful information, webinars, videos, and other helpful resources. See you at the next update of Zebra BI visuals for Power BI.